Are you sick with flu and looking horrific, but you need to go on a date? Here's the makeup for you. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video. Which, to be honest with you, am I healthy? Am I well? Am I better? Am I thriving? No is the answer to all of those questions, and I'm sure you can see and hear that I am not at my best self for 2025. It's not been a great start. I've been ill for weeks now, ever since Boxing Day, pretty much, but I've got most of my voice back. I sound a little nasally, a little toad-like, and I look a little toad-like also. But I'm equipped. I've come equipped with water. I've come equipped with some Halls soothers and a rather large amount of caffeine. And I feel like putting some makeup on today. I've barely worn a scrap of makeup for weeks now, and the pile of new releases to try out and share my thoughts with you on is only growing. It's only getting bigger. We know how January goes. December hits a bit of a slow spell as we go into Christmas, and then January kind of always makes up for it, and it's just a snowball of releases, and it's not slowing down anytime soon, and this pile's only getting bigger. So I thought, you know what, we're all friends here. Do I look or feel my best? No, but we're among friends. Now there's something in my eye. Things are just getting worse. I slept until 11 AM today, so I thought I'm just going to play with some new makeup, have a bit of fun, give myself some makeup therapy with my friends, no pressure, and I'll let you know how I get on with everything. Hope that's okay with you. That's about the maximum I've got in me today. So I have the new Dior foundation. I've already lied to you, I realise. I polled you guys needlessly, as it turns out, because I have ignored your wishes. But I asked you guys whether you wanted to see this one or the Hourglass foundation, the new Hourglass Illuminé Bleu, that one. I asked you which one of those you wanted to see first, and you said the Hourglass, and I've just ignored you blatantly. But it's not on purpose. It's because the Hourglass has not arrived yet, and I'm ready to film, so I'm not waiting for her, okay? So as it happens, we do in fact have the Dior against your wishes. I'm so sorry about it, but that is exactly how this video is going to go today because I'm a mess. I also have 3 of the new Dior bronzers. I've got the Natasha Denona, what is it even called? The Mini Eye Sculpt palette to try. I have the new Lisa Eldridge concealers. I've got the new Gucci mascara and the new Benefit brow pen. I also have this little number from Chanel, this eye and cheek palette that we're going to use for blush and highlighter today, as well as a new lipstick from Chanel. I think that's everything. You see what I mean? It's already getting out of hand, isn't it? Things are arriving at my door on a daily basis, and I have to get my thoughts together on at least a few of them before I go back to bed. So if you want to see all of these products in action and potentially see me pass away live on camera, then keep watching. Just to add to the utter shambolic nature that I'm sure this video will take on today, I have changed my lens. I've got a new lens for Christmas, and typically whenever I change anything technology wise, I like to give it some time, and I will spend weeks, you know, messing around, changing, moving everything back and forth and getting everything perfect before I actually film a video with any like new technology. I haven't had that in me today, I won't lie to you. It's not been on the cards for today, so I'm going in absolute sight unseen, bareback, with no idea what this is going to look like. So I just love to live on the edge. Now we're going to start off with this Benefit brow pen. I have the shade number 5 for those of you who are interested. Hang on a minute, I need lip balm. My lips are just trying to leave my face. Skedaddle back over here. Just the Tatcha Kiss You mask. Don't worry, I'm not kissing anybody at the moment. Everyone is giving me a very wide berth. So a lot of the products I'm going to share my thoughts on and show you today, I have used briefly, like played with, maybe whacked on once or twice, depending on them. Some of them are brand new, just arrived today, but a few of them I have sort of gathered some preemptive thoughts on, and this is one of those products. So this has a 3-prong, a trident, if you will. Do you see that? 3 prongs. there. And it's designed to look like hair strokes. Let me zoom you in a little bit more. That's the great thing about this new lens, is that I can zoom you in if you're a bit far away or a bit close. I wouldn't suggest today you want to be ever so close. It only gets worse the closer you are. But this is one of the products that I have tried, and I will tell you, I don't like it. I can tell you that straight away, and then I'll show you for why. Now, this is supposed to be used on clean and dry skin. And this is problem number one. The way that I like to do my brows, I like to gel my brows into place and then go in and fill where there are gaps. You can't, or you, according to Benefit, you shouldn't do that. And I would agree, because it won't adhere, it won't sort of show up, it doesn't work if you've got other product. If you have got, you know, concealer or primer, or you've got gel on your brows, it's just doing nothing. So that's problem number one. I immediately have to use it in a way I don't want to, you know, and I can't really go in and gel them afterwards, because that sort of rubs the product away. So already I've got an issue. The second issue I have is there's no spoolie on the end, which is really outrageous. I'm just looking at it thinking, am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong. If you can tell me that there's one hidden here somewhere, please let me know. But I don't think there's a spoolie, which is, again, I have to go and get a spoolie to do my brows with this, which is really annoying. However, moving on, let's whack it on. So here's the thing. I feel like, annoyingly, this is the best I've ever managed with this pen, which is typical. It's like when you call IT and say your computer's not working and they tell you to turn it off and on again, and of course you already did that, but when they're on the phone it somehow works. This is one of those situations. So typically what I've got on today, I have no makeup on yet, I have done my skincare, and typically that is enough to stop this working. Like if I've got skincare anywhere near my brows, it just won't lay down colour. But today it has. So they advise you to sort of go at a perpendicular angle, which I try to. But at the front, I just find I don't get a crisp line like I do with the Benefit pencil. This is so hard to do on camera, as if things aren't hard enough. But do you see, I'm not sure if you're close enough, it's not really leaving hair strokes, it's just leaving colour, and it's a bit too sort of blocky for what I like. I think a good solution, a partial solution to this, is I should have got a lighter colour. I did actually consider going back. I was so sort of keen to like this product that I thought about going back and getting another colour, even though I really didn't like it and wasn't getting on the best with it. I wanted to like it, so I thought I'm going to go and get a lighter colour, because I think that would help with some of the sort of blocky harshness of how it looks. But I fear the lines that this makes, despite how fine the pen looks, are too thick for my taste. I feel like I can make a finer line with my pencil. This is really annoying. I was literally explaining to you why I hate this, and then today it's going much better than it has previously. Maybe I'm learning how to use it. I can't believe it. On the top, I like to turn it sort of sideways on, so I'm sort of using the narrowest part, because I don't really want to make hair strokes up there. You know, I just want a bit of filling in. So I was prepared to tell you it's a me, not you kind of issue, because I just think I am not good at using this, and I feel more confident and comfortable with my pencil. But that's not to say I can't get used to it. It's obviously a big change versus a pencil, so I am going to keep using it. Today has definitely been the most promising attempt, so I am going to keep using it. I have just sort of been, I haven't been doing, like I said, makeup, like a full face of makeup. I've done one singular face of makeup since Christmas, So I haven't, you know, I've been trying things out, just sort of dipping a toe and, you know, trying things on a bare face before I have a shower sort of thing, just to see how, you know, if I fancy doing something, but I just haven't had it in me to do a full face of makeup, and I've barely left the house. We literally went sofa shopping on one day, which I had to go because obviously there's not a chance I was leaving my husband to do that unsupervised, you know, make those kinds of life decisions without my guidance and slash decision making. And then we went to the cinema on another day. So I've made sort of tentative steps outside of the house over the last couple of weeks, and I'm only just now starting to feel like I'm getting better. It was just, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I've had the flu, I guess. I started off just saying I've had a really bad cold, but everyone kept saying, Charlotte, this is not just a cold, this is like flu. I did a couple of COVID tests. It wasn't COVID, but it was brutal. The most horrendous sore throat, terrible cough. I didn't have a temperature, I don't think. I couldn't catch a temperature by the time I thought to take my temperature about a week in. I didn't have one anyway. Really horrendously stuffed and blocked. My whole face was so swollen. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted a funny New Year's Eve photo, and my face, I mean, still now I'm a bit like puffy, but my face was twice this size at its worst, and so painful. All my sinuses were just having a party. It's been awful, and it has literally been, you know, since Boxing Day, and I'm still like, I don't know, probably 50% better. My cough has mostly gone. As you can hear, my voice and my throat is still recovering. I'm still quite sniffly, I'm still quite sneezy, but my main issue left now is just exhaustion. I feel absolutely exhausted. I am sleeping, like I said, sort of 12 hours at night. But having said that, I was sort of coughing the entire night, so it doesn't really count as, you know, a great night's sleep. But I am just absolutely exhausted, and I think that's the sort of the worst bit that is left now, is just my tiredness. So I'm just going in with my Tom Ford Soft Matte Primer, and then we're going to dip into this new eyeshadow palette from Natasha Denona, which I have not used at all yet. I have certainly not been doing eyeshadow over the last couple of weeks. If I did anything, I would go in with like some tinted moisturizer and just a wing and a prayer. So I'm going to start off, I think, with this shade. This looks like a nice sort of barely there bit of something in the crease to blend into. I think this is like either for you or it's not. I feel like probably 50% of the people are like, what on earth do I need that for? Where are the shimmers? Where's the colour, you know? Whereas the rest of us are like, this is like the essential palette. I feel like this is such a clever little addition to Natasha's line. Middle shade now, to just add a little bit of warmth in there. This is just going to come everywhere with me. I like that it's so small, and therefore I can take it, you know, when I travel, when I go on holiday, when I visit people, when, you know, for little weekends here and there. And I'm not going to need anything else. I can either just do this. This is the sort of look that I would do if I'm going, you know, just for a family day, or if we're going to a theme park or children's day out, or, you know, the weather's not great and I don't want to do anything that's going to be a mess by the end. This is what I would do. But on holiday, I like to not travel with anything that I can break easily. You know, I've seen those baggage handlers. They don't care about makeup. You know, I would take a lot of liquid shimmer shadows, and I could just take this as well. It's not a huge disaster if it breaks. You know, I wouldn't be happy about it, but it's not like a mothership breaking, you know what I mean? Or like a huge expensive palette. And I can just use this every day and then add in, you know, any liquid shimmer, one of the Lisa Eldridge liquid Lurexes, and it's going to go with absolutely everything. And I can do as much or as little as I like with this. I'm using the fourth sort of warmest shadow there, and I'm just going to add this into the crease and really sculpt the eye with that shade. I mean, Natasha's mattes are potentially, probably my favourite matte formula. I think she has the best mattes out there. So a whole quint of essential mattes from her is ideal. And I think these tones, they're just perfect. You know, they've got the perfect balance. We've got something a bit more neutral, something lighter. We've got a brow arch shade. We've got a real intense black, you know, that if you could use for liner or just really smoking things up, and everything blends unbelievably well. Effortless. So now I'm going to just use this cream shadow on my lid to brighten that up a little. The great thing about this new lens is that I can actually put my mirror close to my face, so I can actually see what I'm doing now without the mirror being in front of the lens. So this is going to really help me be able to see while I'm doing makeup, which, you know, for some people it's quite important. I feel like that creamy shadow could have been a little bit more pigmented. I feel like I had to build it up quite a bit to get sort of the amount of brightening that I wanted, but amazing formulas, blend like a dream, everything you could possibly need for like an everyday all matte look, and also as a companion, shall we say, to any shimmer shadows you may want to use. Is it exciting? Not especially, but is it kind of essential for some of us? I think so. So I'm going to move on to mascara now. This is the Gucci mascara. Now this is something that I have tried a couple of times and I really love this mascara. I think it's amazing. I love the component. It's very chic. Let me put it back together so you can actually see the component while I talk about it. Very chic, very understated, very classic, which I love. Now I will insert a picture of the brush of this mascara, because once it's got mascara all over it, you can't really see, you know, the shape, and I want you to see, because this is so innovative. This mascara, it reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Push Up Lashes wand, as in it's got a sort of flat side and then bristles on the edge, so it's flat either side and then it has bristles on the top. But what's different to the Charlotte Tilbury's flat sides are just flat, whereas on this one the flatter sides still have bristles. They're just barely there bristles. They're tiny, sort of subtle bristles, if you will. Hopefully I can find a photo that does it justice. So just like I do with the Charlotte Tilbury, I'm going to use the flatter side to sort of push the lashes up and get them covered in mascara, and then I'm going to use the edge to comb through. You see how much product it lays down onto your lashes, how quickly. That's like a couple of passes. The amount of coughs and sniffs and sneezes I'm going to have to edit out of this video is next level. When I first used this mascara for the first time, it was the first time I really thought we've got a contender for a new favourite mascara. Since I found the Charlotte Tilbury, pretty much every mascara I've tried on first use, I've known it's not going to be a new holy grail. It's not going to put my Charlotte Tilbury under any pressure until this one. And the first time I used this, I really thought, oh, Charlotte Tilbury is quaking in her high-heeled Louboutins right now.
Another drink, honey, you got one?
Can I have another coffee, please? Thank you. Another difference with this wand is it's much more flexible. So the Charlotte Tilbury is a bit firmer. This one feels a bit more wiggly in the palm, if you know what I mean. As you're sort of applying it to the lashes, you can feel it's got some give, whereas the Charlotte Tilbury is a bit firmer. It's not really a good or a bad thing. It's just a thing. Neither great nor upsetting. It is quite a wet formula as well, so you do have to be slightly careful. It could be very messy, you know, if you were to touch your lid at all, you are going to get transfer while you're applying, because it does feel quite a wet formula. So, I mean, one coat and I feel like this looks great. It's got lots of length, it's quite separating, it's very easy to use, it's a nice small brush that you can use easily on top and bottom lashes. It is also quite easy to remove at the end of the day, no easier or harder than the Charlotte Tilbury. There is one thing that keeps my Charlotte Tilbury slightly pipping this one currently, and that is the first, I think I've only used this once or twice, and it slightly flakes throughout the day. I had a few like little sort of flakes of mascara under my lash line at the end of the day. I'm going to keep using it and testing because it looks so good, so beautiful. This is one coat, we'll do, of course we're going to do more than one. Don't panic, we'll see it in action again momentarily. But that is the one reason it didn't instantly knock Charlotte Tilbury off, because I think it looks as good and I love the packaging and everything, and it was really like, oh, is this gonna be a new favourite? And then at the end of the day, no, Charlotte Tilbury would not do this to me. It wasn't like horrendous panda eyes or anything, but it was something that the Charlotte Tilbury I don't have to worry about. We also have not yet to find out how long this stays great for, whereas I know the Charlotte Tilbury literally stays amazing with every use until it is used up. So we'll see how that one ages. Okay, so we're moving on to the Forever Hydra Nude Foundation from Dior. And we've already, within a couple of days of 2025, I can tick off a makeup prediction. If you watch my makeup predictions video, you'll know I predicted Dior would come out with a new liquid foundation in 2025 along the lines of the stick foundation, and that is exactly what I would say this is. So it has sort of quite a thicker texture, this foundation, you know, it's not going anywhere. I've just realised I should have done the Lisa Eldridge stick first. I knew this video would be a mess. Don't worry, it's on now. We'll come back to the Lisa Eldridge. But that's exactly what I would say this foundation is. I would say it's like a medium buildable coverage. It's got a really natural glow to it. Very skin-like, and it's not dewy. It's just luminous, like a natural skin-like luminosity. And that's, you know, a really light layer. How red I am. Literally appalling. A really light layer has really evened everything out while still seeing skin through. And that is like the level of luminosity that you get with this foundation. A really nice, not too dewy, not too shiny, but a lovely, fresh, healthy glow. It's really beautiful. I instantly fell in love with this foundation, even though I was looking absolutely horrendous. It made me look fresh, youthful and alive, which was quite miraculous. I will say it wears really well. So this is the first day I actually put makeup on was Monday just gone, and it was a long day. It was our last day of Christmas holidays, and what did we do? Oh yes, we went to meet my mum and dad at the car museum. We spent the whole day there. We got home, had a brief rest, and then I had to take my daughter to gymnastics. So this foundation, I took it off. I went up to bed at like 10 o'clock, and by that point the foundation had probably been on like 13 hours, and it basically looked freshly applied. There was a slight bit of a shinier bit of forehead. That was it. Otherwise it looked amazing and I was very impressed. Now I've done one cheek, not because I'm losing my marbles, although I am, but because I forgot to talk about these bad boys, and I want to show you. The lucky thing about me being ill is that I have some blemishes to cover, and I don't want to show off. Okay, but I don't usually get very many blemishes and spots. I don't get a huge amount of breakouts. Touch wood. Where's some wood? my coaster for you. I don't get a huge amount of blemishes, so it's not very easy for me to show you something like this concealer, because this concealer from Lisa is not designed to be like an under eye concealer. It's designed to be a more of a spot concealing, pinpoint concealing, if you will, product. So Lisa sent me 4 shades, and I think as far as like matching my skin tone, probably shade 5 is going to be my best bet. Now, I haven't tried these on the skin yet, but I did do swatches of them, and I had to do swatches a couple of times. I can't remember why now. I think just the weather was messing me around as far as getting to photograph them outside in natural daylight, so I had to do it maybe a couple of times. And let me tell you, although I haven't used these on my face yet, what I can tell you about these is they are not coming off, okay? I swatched these on my arm, had a shower, and still had to really scrub them to get them off. And there was even then a bit of a, like, it's gone now, but there was a faint mark still there days later. They are bulletproof. These are like waterproof, bulletproof, life-proof, amazing. So we have shade 3, 4, 5, 6 on my hand there. And I'm going to very quickly wipe those off, or they will be there. Once they've dried down, they are not coming off. So these are designed for spot concealing, and they do twist up the pencil, but they also come with a sharpener on the end. So they're, you know, once some of these products, once you've used it once, you lose the real precise point, but not with these. And I've already tried out those sharpeners and they're amazing. So this is designed, you're supposed to, as per Lisa's technique, basically scribble over anything you want to cover. So this little bit of melasma, this little blemish, I've got another one down here, which I already went over with the concealer, but anything you want to cover, you basically scribble over the top of it. And she says not to make it too perfect, because that's more obvious. You want sort of uneven edges, and you just literally scribble over and around your blemish, like so. And then, you know, you can use a finger, you can use a brush, you can use a sponge, and what you're going to basically get is something very subtle and natural. So if you don't want to wear foundation, you don't want to wear a lot of makeup, but you just want to cover any little imperfections and still see your skin, and still, you know, be able to see skin, normal skin texture, and look like, you know, you're so natural, you're not wearing any makeup, but you've just kind of had a little bit of a cheat here and there. That's what this is for, this pinpoint concealing, really strategically where you need it. And they can be built up if you need a bit more. They can be used on their own, they can be used over or under foundation. And like I said, they will not be going anywhere once you've put them on. They are absolutely bulletproof. So now I can go back to my foundation. And if you were worried that that was Lisa's only concealer that we have been talking about for all of these years that we've been waiting on a Lisa Eldridge concealer, don't worry. She does have a more traditional concealer in the works. It will be coming soon. It's just that these sort of additional little touch-up concealers were ready first. She's still working on her liquid concealer, but that is definitely going to be coming fairly soon. So for those of us who are desperately in need of an under eye concealer from Lisa, it is coming very soon. So now you can see a bit clearer what we've got with this Dior foundation. So I'm building this up to get a more sort of medium to full coverage, which you can easily do. I am using a sponge today. I don't know why really. It's just what I fancied, you know, fancied a change. I do typically use a brush, but with a sponge, you know, it does soak up some product, so you may need a bit more product if you want a bit more coverage. But I do like the sort of more natural effect that you get. So this is a little built up now, and you can see that that Lisa Eldridge, where I applied that stick, it's invisible and seamless. If you want to use it under foundation, it's not going to upset or worry your foundation or show or cause, you know, any kind of fighting with the product. It's so natural and seamless that it just melts away. I am gonna go back in with another coat of mascara. You'll see that builds so nicely. Get some drama if that's what you so desire. I know it's what I desire. You can certainly have a more natural effect with this mascara, or you can really build some drama with just a couple of coats. It's an excellent mascara. So this is the foundation now fully laid down. It's had a second while I just did that mascara to sort of see what the actual finish is rather than it just still being wet. It's so natural skin-like. If you like the stick foundation, it's the stick foundation in liquid form, which I don't want to show off about, but is exactly what I said we would be getting this year, and I'm loving it. It wears beautifully well, feels very lightweight. It does have a very potent fragrance. That's the only negative I have to say about it. And I think we're off to a very strong start as far as finding a new everyday favorite foundation for me. You know, that was one of my resolutions for this year. I want to find a new holy grail foundation because I think my Tom Ford Shade Illuminate is potentially going to be messed with in 2025. So I don't have a new more, what do you call it, traditional concealer to try today, so I'm using the Haus Labs. I will say, although I know a lot of people have been very sympathetic and you guys have been so kind checking on me and wishing me well while I've been ill, I actually just feel so lucky that it waited until Boxing Day to arrive, or actually it really was the day after Boxing Day that I actually felt unwell. I woke up on whatever that day was, the 27th, and just my throat was like I'd been sword swallowing the entire night before, which I promise I had not. But I got, you know, my full Christmas Day with no illness at all. I got to fully, absolute have the time of my life on Christmas Day. And Boxing Day, so Christmas Day we go to my sister's, and then Boxing Day we go to my mum and dad's and have like a second Christmas Day. And again, I didn't feel unwell, I didn't feel tired, I had an amazing time. It wasn't until I got home and then the next day that I felt unwell. So I really actually feel so lucky because I know so many of you and so many people I know were poorly all over Christmas, and I would have much rather the way that it went. At least I got to enjoy Christmas. So next up, these Dior bronzes. So I initially ordered shades 3 and 4. So 3 soft, and these are all, of course, the glowy bronzers. So they released, I think, 8 shades, 4 glowy, 4 matte, and the matte shades will be called soft matte, warm matte, intense matte, whereas the glowy shades are just soft or warm. So this is shade 3 soft, the glowy style with the glowy finish, and shade 4 warm with the glowy finish. Initially I ordered these two, and you can see they are both quite light. They are quite similar in shade, but the undertone is a little different, and ironically the soft shade is warmer than the warm shade, to my eye at least, so that's interesting. So this is shade soft and this is shade 4 warm, so I think you can see that warm isn't quite as warm as soft. So I did use both of these shades initially. This packaging is unbelievably beautiful. I think you'll all agree. I love it. It's so luxurious and beautiful, as is the product inside. I've used both of these shades and they both work on me. They might look super light, but they are very buildable and I can use either of these shades. And I don't find them super orangey. They are warm, but they are bronzers, so of course they should be warm. I do prefer the undertone of the warm shade because soft is just that little bit warmer. But having seen these and swatched them, I decided to go back for another shade, and this is the shade Intense. So this is shade 5 Intense. And I thought initially I wouldn't be able to use this, it looked too deep for my skin tone. But having seen the first two shades, I thought, no, I can use it. And I did think it looked to be the most neutral as it is. So shade 3 Soft, 4 Warm, 5 Intense, and I think you can see Intense definitely has the more neutral undertone. So I have used the other two shades. I haven't used Intense on my cheeks yet. So I'm going to do that for the first time with you today. Sonia TF1. By the way, if I haven't said my brushes, I think I've used all Sonia T series brushes today. So as far as the formula, obviously I have tested and tried out this formula in the other two shades and I love it. It's very natural, very buildable. So although they all look a bit light, and to be clear, this should not be the deepest bronzer ever. Okay, I should not be able to use the deepest shade of anyone's bronzer. This is like an outrage that this is the deepest shade. And not only is it the deepest shade, I'm actually building it up. So on my winter skin tone. So that is like not okay. That's definitely not good enough in 2025 from Dior. And it's not the first time they've done it where they've made, you know, bronzers look much deeper than they really are in reality. There's just no way that this bronzer is bronzing the model that they've used in their photos, which I hate when brands do that. But this for me is definitely the best shade of the three. I think the other two are warmer, not too warm, and I still liked them, but they are warmer, so I do prefer this shade, and I can still build and it blends beautifully, and it's not like shimmery or sparkly. It has a very natural luminous finish, very soft focused and just like lit from within. You see as that catches the light there, just a bit of luminosity. There's no shimmer or sparkle or glitter. It stays very smooth. It's very buildable. You can get as much or as little out of it as you would like. It blends like a dream and it builds up quite a lot. So I think that this bronzer would work on like a tanned skin tone with a bit of building. But any deeper than that, I don't think it's going to bronze you. So I think there's definitely a long way to go and a lot of work to be done from Dior to catch up to the rest of the world. I'm going to just momentarily dip into the shade in the middle of this Natasha Denona palette, my lower lash line. And now it's finally time to dip into this bad boy. So this is Chanel's Jeux de Lumiere palette, and it is an oversized eye and cheek palette. So it's designed that you can use it on the eyes and on the cheeks. But for me, this is just going to be the most divine highlight and blush palette. So pretty, absolutely gorgeous. I think in summer, you know, I'll just use all of this as a sort of highlighting palette, but in winter some of these shades definitely are more like a blush on my skin tone. So I'm excited for how versatile this is going to be, because Chanel cheek products are just always gorgeous. So I'm using my Sonia G Fan Pro, and I think I'm going to use this shade on my cheeks. Gorgeous. I mean, my all-time favorite highlighter from Chanel is their Precious Coral in their oversized the Symbols highlighter. Oh, my voice is starting to disappear again. And this palette really gives me that sort of vibe of that oversized Symbols palette, so I knew that I would love it. So pretty, it's melting into the skin, beautiful, but definitely builds up if you want something a bit more impactful. I'm going to use this shade down the bridge of my nose because sometimes more peachy shades. You can sort of see the colour there. So I prefer to use something a bit lighter on my nose. Very pretty. Gorgeous. Okay, and I think I'm going to use this shade on my cheeks with my Rephr Holiday brush. I think this will show as like a blush, a very highlighty, glowy blush, I think, with some building. Yes, I'm definitely getting some peachiness there. That's so pretty. Yeah, definitely can use that shade as blush. I think this shade is going to be a bit too sort of coppery for what I like as blush, but this one for sure is giving me a bit of a sort of corally, peachy blush, which I love. Beautiful. I've been so excited to get my hands on this. Gorgeous. That immediately made me feel like 5% better. Really pretty. I love the overall effect of that palette on the skin. So pretty. And beaming away. I know it probably won't seem like it because I did have content going up all over Christmas, but I haven't filmed a video in weeks. So illness aside, I'm still confused regardless. Now, the other product I picked up from Chanel's latest collection is one of their Rouge Coco Balm Shine finishes. So they have the Rouge Coco Balm line that I like, I don't love especially, from Chanel, and these are the same line but with a shinier finish. So I picked up one shade, which is Honey Bliss, 752. It has a lot of sparkle, and I think these have maybe a bit more colour to them than the typical Coco Balms, which are, you know, their sort of balmy formula. Oh, that's super pretty. Oh, that's so pretty. Perfect combination with the cheek palette as well. Very sort of spring, bronzy, peachy vibes today. My hair is just, I don't know what's happening. I put it in a scrunchie and it was still slightly damp from the shower yesterday. There's no turning back. Okay, and here is the finished makeup look. I am loving pretty much everything that I tried today. Even the Benefit brow pen, which I've not been enjoying, worked better for me today. I was having a good day. I feel like the makeup knew I needed to have a good day because I did not have it in me to deal with terrible products today. But everything is looking so pretty. I feel like I look like a completely different person that I started this video. This should be like an advert, okay? Are you sick with flu and looking horrific, but you need to go on a date? Here's the makeup for you, because I feel like much more like myself right now. Okay, so let's talk about all of these products that I shared with you today. So first up, let's talk about this Dior foundation. I love it, okay? I've used it a couple of times now. It's still early days, but it gives me everything I want a foundation to give me. It gives me a solid medium coverage with a bit of building, which is exactly what I like. It's very skin-like, it's very natural. It still has, you know, my skin showing through and it still looks very understated. It feels very lightweight and hydrating on the skin, and it wears amazingly with this gorgeous natural luminosity that looks really fresh and healthy and youthful, even though I'm half dead, okay? It's amazing. I'm loving it. I'm of course going to keep trying it, and I will give you some more longer term thoughts in my January beauty roundup once I've got to use it a few more times. But so far, so amazing. Definitely on track to become, you know, a top drawer go-to day-to-day foundation. It's just gorgeous. The Lisa Eldridge Pinpoint concealers, I mean, these yet again from Lisa are a game-changing, extremely innovative product that is so on brand. You know, Lisa's been doing her pinpoint concealing technique for decades. She's known for it. It's extremely effective at, you know, covering little imperfections while remaining completely natural and skin-like in appearance. I think they are such a game changer. If you are someone who doesn't wear a lot of makeup day to day for the office, you just want to cover any sort of blemishes, any little bits of melasma or discoloration or anything like that, just little touch-ups. Of course, they're very travel friendly. Not only can you pop them in your handbag, but you can even sharpen them without having to take a sharpener with you, you know, should you get caught short. Absolute game-changing product for lots of people. It's not the type of product that I personally use a lot because, like I said, I'm very blessed. I don't get a lot of blemishes or breakouts or anything like that. So I am more excited for her more traditional concealer formula because that is something I use, you know, every time I do my makeup. But I think these are such an amazing staple for someone who does a bit less makeup than me or does something just a bit different with their makeup. I think these are amazing, such a great solution, and they are so incredibly bulletproof. They're going to be perfect. You know, if you want to wear a little bit of something to the gym, I know people love to judge people who wear makeup to the gym, but some people are trying to find a husband there, okay? So it's okay, let it happen. That's the sort of thing I can feel, you know, you're just doing a little bit of something over some blemishes or over some discoloration. You can go to the gym and sweat as much as you like, and that is not going to let you down. And another amazing product from Eldridge. These bronzers from Dior, I think they're beautiful. I love the finish of the glowy bronzer. We hardly ever get glowy bronzers and I live for them, and I think these are one of the better ones I've tried. They're not quite as glowy as the RMS, which for lots of people will be fantastic because that might be a bit too glowy for some people. This is more of a natural luminosity, which is perfect. It's beautiful. I love the packaging, I love the finish, and I love the intense shade on me, but it is undoubtedly a massive fail when it comes to the inclusivity of this product because, like I said, I, in my winter skin tone, should not be able to use the deepest shade. So definitely some work to be done for Dior. And like I said, it's not the first time this has happened. With their previous limited edition bronzers that were in my worst makeup of 2024, we had the exact same problem where the number of bronzers released is great. You know, they had 8 shades of bronzer here. That's an amazing, brilliant number of shades, but it's completely pointless if several of those shades are going to be around the same depth. There's no point in having 8. You might as well have just had 2 because they're very, very close together. So if we're going to do 8, at least a couple of those should work on people with very deep skin tones, okay? What are we doing? Now this mascara from Gucci, she's close. It's so close, okay? I love it. I think it's beautiful. I feel like it gives me a really nice dramatic first coat. I don't need 5 coats, which is another thing that I love about the Charlotte Tilbury, another similarity that these two have. I think without question this is probably my second favourite mascara, but I don't think it's going to pip the Charlotte Tilbury because, like I said, it tends to slightly flake. It's not a huge mess. It's nothing anyone else would notice. It's like a few specks of tiny mascara deposits underneath my lower lash line. So for that reason, it can't topple my Charlotte Tilbury, but they are very similar and they are very neck and neck. So I don't know. I love the effect. I love how it builds. I love the length and the drama I get while it stays quite separated. I love the brush. I love that I can use it top and bottom lashes. I love a lot about it. I don't love that I'm getting a few flakes come the end of the day. So that's the one drawback. I'm going to keep using this because I'm really intrigued to see how it ages over the next few weeks. Again, I'll keep you posted with some more thoughts once it's a few weeks old and it's had a few more tries. It could be that it stops doing that. It could be that it gets worse as the product dries out. So watch this space. Next up, this little number from Chanel. I love it so much. I think it's beautiful. I knew I would love it. I always love Chanel highlighters. It's absolutely gorgeous on the skin. I can use it as highlighter and blush, and I think in summer it will still work for me because I've got that sort of variation of tone. I do want to try this on my eyes. Obviously I had another palette to use today, but I do want to try this on my eyes. And again, I will keep you updated as how I like it as eyeshadow as well in my January roundup when I'm hopefully feeling significantly better and have a bit more energy. And the Natasha Denona £5. I do slightly wish this shade, as I said, was a little more intensely pigmented. You can see in that swatch, it's quite soft, and I would have liked it to be a bit creamier and more opaque and just a bit more intensely pigmented, because that would have given me a much more brighter effect. But without question, the formulas blend like a dream. They're silky smooth, buttery soft, very easy to blend and build, and it does exactly what you would want it to. The perfect balance of undertones and depths in there. A very, very boring but essential piece of makeup for me. And this Chanel lippy, I love this. It's so sort of balmy on the lips, although it looks quite grainy to look at the bullet with the sparkles that you can see in there. It doesn't feel gritty at all on the lips. Even as I'm applying it, I can't feel, you know, the glitter in there whatsoever. It feels lovely and buttery and hydrating, and I think the shade is super pretty and wearable as well. So that is a big win for me. Is that everything? Oh, the brow pen. I don't know what to think anymore. I'm actually thinking I'm going to go back and order, like I said I was going to, a lighter shade, because I think that will allow me to apply more pressure without the brow becoming too blocky and too heavy. So yeah, I'm now back on the fence. Initially I was here to tell you I hate it, I can't use it, I don't like it, it's not for me. And now I'm having to rethink, because it worked much better for me today and I didn't actually use any gel or like miss having gel in my brows. So I need to go back to the drawing board on this one. Watch this space. Initially, I didn't think I liked it. It obviously has a bit of a learning curve to it. If you are new to brow pens like I am, and you typically use a pencil or a pomade or something else, be prepared to, you know, work through the initial, it's not for me, because it might be for you after all. So a lot of this was not necessarily first impressions, but maybe first impressions, maybe second impressions. Of course, I will give you some more thorough thoughts in my January roundup once I've been trying all of these products for a few more weeks, and I will let you know of any developments that may occur. But thank you so much for joining me today and sticking through the mess and the sniffling and the voice. I hope things can only go up from here in 2025, and I will be back to full strength very, very soon. I don't know when my next video will be. I'm trying to sort of be kind to myself and rest when I need to rest, film when I feel up to it. So things might be a little more scattered and less consistent than I typically am, but I'm doing my best to, you know, heal and get well. So please bear with me, but thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I would love to see you in the next one, whenever that may be. But take care for now. Bye 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 bye.